What's the question today?
Well, so I hear from both sides, like boxers. I hear criticism from boxers on the vertical fist a lot, saying like it's not powerful enough. And then I hear people in the Chinese martial arts sometimes that use the vertical fist respond to the boxers and say we use the vertical fist because it's quicker and the body mechanics allow us to punch quicker than a boxing punch. And I noticed you yesterday or a few days ago working with the students on the dummy, and you actually in the form you use both the vertical and the horizontal fist. So what are the pros and cons of both? Like when do you use vertical versus horizontal? What are they for? What's the difference?
I like the vertical fist a lot. It's just like mechanically, when you have it vertical, you're more protected because your elbow's down, so it's protecting your lower area as you're punching, and it's a straighter punch. When you have it horizontal, it wings your elbow out, and now you're not as protected on the sides. And I feel that it's a slower punch. You know, I use both, so I'm not limited by either. So everybody should use both. It doesn't make sense to favor one over the other. It's just more like how you feel in your punching style, and what feels good for you. I like the vertical punching. Especially if I have my right lead forward. With my left lead forward, I feel more comfortable with the horizontal with the left, because it's more like a boxing style. But you also got to realize that boxers, they have those huge gloves on. I mean, it makes a big difference. So that's why they're favoring the horizontal, because the gloves don't allow them to do a vertical effectively.
Right.
So the Chinese, they martial artists, they train for the streets typically, and they don't have gloves on. So their punching method is more for the streets, and they could cut angles in a much different way, more effectively than boxers. Boxers are very one-dimensional because the gloves, in the way they can only really punch one way. Like very few punching techniques. But the Chinese martial arts could cut a lot of different angles, and not only could they use the vertical fist, they could use horizontal fist, they could use the claw, they could use just an open hand, back fist. They could use a back fist, for example. They could use open palm hooks. They could use close-in hooks. They could use panther fist. I mean, there's just so many different things that you could do when you don't have the gloves restricting you. So the way that I teach is to use all of it to your advantage and just do it yourself. Punch the punching bag, for an hour with the vertical fist, and then punch it for an hour with the horizontal fist, and videotape yourself and see what feels better for you. Pay attention to how the bag is moving, and whether or not there's more power in one way over another. See if one feels faster. Look at your form and technique on the video and to see if you're more exposed punching one way opposed to another way. Like what I encourage people to do is conduct their own experimentations to see what works for them. When I'm punching boards, it's much easier to break it with the vertical fist than the horizontal fist. The vertical fist, you're using these three knuckles right here, and they all come into unison to strike the board. When you do the horizontal one, you're only hitting these two knuckles here. So 3 compared to 2, I feel that the 3 is better. And it feels better, and you feel stronger. Your wrist feels like it won't, that it's more solid. It hurts less when you break a board hitting here than opposed to here. Hitting the sandbag, it just feels a lot better hitting it like this, and it just flows. But you can't punch like this. You're not supposed to, because the wrist is in an awkward position. You can't punch straight like that.
Right.
You have to kind of lean to the side to get a straight punch in. So in order to hit the sandbag, I'd have to hit the horizontal. I would have to lean and just hit with one arm to keep the wrist straight, right? But vertical, you could go with both, and then it's proper structure, proper form, and you can keep it flowing. Horizontal, you can't punch like that. You gotta keep the wrist straight, and you gotta hit like that. But there's that power in it because you're putting everything into the punch. And boxers, you gotta realize, They got those huge gloves on, so they need to kind of punch like that to knock the person out. This, the person's not gonna feel anything. You know, like the person could punch like try to box like this. First, the glove is in the way. Second, there's no power there, and then the person is just gonna come over the top and just hit them one time and knock them out. Now, without the gloves, this can knock somebody out in one punch. With the glove, not so. So what ends up happening is people will resort in more less efficient techniques in order to get the extra power in to knock them out because of the glove barrier. But in a real, it's like me shooting at you with a real gun and then I just kill you with one shot, opposed to shooting you with a BB gun or a small caliber gun where I gotta shoot you like 10 times for you to die, you know. So when you get that big glove on, now instead of like focusing around the jab to win a fight on the streets, you're focusing on knocking them out with that hook punch, that cross punch, or that uppercut, because the jab is just, they just don't feel anything. So it's like somebody putting on a helmet and then you punch them as hard as you can and then they're still coming at you. Because they got the helmet on and you got the glove on, of course they don't feel anything. So then now you're like, shoot, let me grab this bat, and then he finally goes down. But in a real fight, if they didn't have the helmet on, you'd have the glove on, that one punch pretty much would have ended the fight. Because in real fighting, it's very delicate. So I could just jab your eye and then it could end the fight.
Right.
Like just with a finger jab. I could just punch you in the nose one time with a good jab and they could end the fight. You know, but in boxing, it's not like that. You got to punch them over and over and over again. There's very few, if any, boxing matches where the person just gets knocked out with one hit. They got to go round after round after round after round, and then finally get knocked out in the 8th round, the 10th round, the 12th round. But in real fighting, when you don't have any of those equipment, any of that barriers, you hit them. You know, somebody that trains in iron fist, you know, like the monks or whatever, like, you know, you just train with the iron fist, and your fist could be as strong as steel. You just hit them one time, and then it's done. Right. You know, because it's very delicate. You know, you hit with the fist in a certain part of the bone structure in the eye, then it could just be blood everywhere, and then they could, you know, blood all over the eye, and then their vision gets distorted, and then now you got more punches coming at you, more kicks, and then they can't do anything anymore, you know. Or, you know, in a real fighting, you could just chop them in the throat one time and they could literally die, you know, just chopping them right here, you know. So it's a very delicate situation. So the Chinese martial arts are just, it involves all these delicacies, all these different ways of punching. You could grab him in the throat and kill him here. You could jab him in the eye right here, and then your knuckles stuck out, and then hit him right in the eye, and then they could blind them. You know, vertical fist, horizontal fist. Boxers is just so one-dimensional. They can't claw them. They can't grab them. They can't elbow strike. They can't knee strike. They can't do eye jabs. They can't even do a vertical fist because the glove's in the way. Right. They have really no choice but to do the horizontal fist because that's all they could do. Mm-hmm. You know. Because that's when the gloves don't get in the way, you know, and it's very one-dimensional. So, but I'm not opposed to the horizontal fist. I mean, there's certain anglings of punching where it's just more effective to have the horizontal fist, because the vertical fist keeps your body upright. The horizontal fist allows you to kind of move and angle yourself out of the way, and then hitting them while your body's out the way. So there's benefits to both. I like both, and you should like both. It's stupid to be like, oh, which hand's better, the right or the left hand? Well, it's good to have both hands. Like, why debate which is better, like, right eye or left eye? Well, you should have both eyes. Like, we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 fists. Why limit yourself? Right. Well, what's better, a front kick or a hook kick? Use them both. I love both of them, because the front kick opens up opportunities for the hook kick. Hook kicks open up opportunities for the front kick. So, horizontal fists, okay, there's great benefit to that, boxing style. And then the horizontal, you know, vertical fist, more like a chain punching style. You know, so it's stupid to even have them debate on which punching style is better. It's like, don't limit yourself. Find out what works for you, you know. But I personally, on my right lead, I feel just so natural with the vertical fist. On my left lead, I feel more natural with the boxing type of punching, because it's like a power punching, like jabbing and then knock them out, jabbing and then knock them out. The vertical fist is more like it's more like speed and
Right.
you know, just getting in there and using your speed to your advantage. You know, so Bruce Lee would say the bosses would be like, "Oh, have your strong side back," and then Bruce Lee said, "Have your strong side in the front." I'm saying do both, like learn Bruce's method and then also learn that method and then have both. So then either one it goes, I'm adapting. So usually when it has the person has his left lead, I have my left. He has his right, I have my right. I have no like either one it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't phase me. So I'm saying combine the benefits of both. And it shouldn't be too difficult. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.